Today I want to talk about the outsider, and I've titled this talk, The Outsider is the Insider. And the reason why I want to talk about this today is because so many people that I know, especially a lot of artists, but I think everybody's an artist, feel like they're on the outside. And my theory is that the outside is the inside. You choose to walk out of the middle of an argument or out of a problem or an issue often because it's too volatile, it's too emotional, it attacks your safety, your boundaries, your security, which is a form of survival, protection. But sometimes you leave the center of everything, what's right, what's correct, the way you're supposed to live, because you hear a different drum beat. That's to quote Thoreau, of course. You leave and you go out to different levels of the periphery, and you leave behind your friends, your family, sometimes your job, your occupation, who you're supposed to be in society. A choice that is often made for us from the very beginning, and we play that role for everyone around us, and we wear a mask so that they will be comfortable, but you're not. And one day you become less comfortable. And when that happens, you begin to start cleaning things out. You can, of course, do it drastically, leave any situation, a job, a relationship, and that's it, it's over. Or you can make a slow progression, a slow stepping back. Whatever way you choose to do it, there's no wrong way. I don't even think there's a right way, actually. I think everything is a participating. We're participating in everything. I think the name of the game is to drop all the roles that we play for one another. Your truest friends, your truest family will accept you for who and what you are. But it's important to leave the comfort zone, and it's important to walk out of situations that make you feel stifled, insecure, unhappy, and hopeless. Now, part of that journey means that very likely there will be a time where you will walk alone, and it can go on for months, it can go on for years. I've talked and read many people that have gone on for long periods of time, and some people choose the mystic's path, some people choose the recluse, the hermit. That's a personal lifestyle choice, and that's okay. However, I want to talk about being an outsider and knowing things because you have suffered, because you chose to look at the things that you're not supposed to look at, things that would be in the shadow, things that society would ask you not to look at. Risks. It's a risk to be yourself, to be fully and completely who you are. And in this world, sometimes it seems like it comes with a great sacrifice. And of course that's where we get all the great religious doctrines telling us how amazing that is, and that suffering is wonderful. I'm not going to talk about that aspect because I believe suffering gives you humility, but it is not everything. And of course I believe in sensuality, I believe in art, beauty, hope, so much. And what I want to say is that when you walk out and you're standing on the outside and you're in that desert where maybe there's no one visibly around you, and you find that tears are shed, anger, rage, about everything that feels like great emptiness around you. Of course, I always believe nothing's empty. I think there is much around us at all times. The stone, the rocks, the trees, the sky, the stars, it's all alive. But sometimes when we're dead inside because we've been hurt, we do not see the aliveness of that, the relationship of that. So we're on the outside. We're out there thinking we're alone, but in fact, the further out you go, the bigger the truth, and the more real, the more authentic, and the more original it is. So what I'm saying is, everyone that's on the outside, and I think there's a lot more people than we realize, and it's not just the artist, it's all of us, have stepped outside the center of a society that is breaking down like the Titanic about to crash into the iceberg. I do think that it's time for an aspect of society to die away. And that's big, because it's a death right in front of us. So it may mean that there would be an ending in our own lives. And I'm not just talking about the death of someone. I'm talking about the death of patterns that we relate to the world through, conditioned patterns. When you leave the conditioned patterns, it's basically having a routine that you live by, and as time it dies away, or it doesn't serve you in a way. And what I'm saying is those patterns created by society, by dogma, by religions, politicians, are kind of a straitjacket that's gotten too tight, and it's created a lot of outsiders, rebels, whatever you would like to call them. And in this way, we've created a giant circle. And it's an invisible circle right now because we have not joined hands. And part of that is because of a great fear of exposing our emotional selves, our vulnerability, that I've been alone and I've been really sad and I need people. It's so hard for us to say that to one another because we're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to just get by and keep moving on. And I don't think anymore that the world that's trying to be upheld is the world that many of us want. But then we're caught because there's no new world being written for us. And that's this moment, this still point, which I talk about a lot. And what I'm saying is that quietly, the outsiders, all of us, have now become the insider. To me, there is no difference between the insider and the outsider. As we claim our space and our sovereignty on the outside, we ultimately re-enter back into the center stronger. Sometimes when you're in the center, as we know through politicians, there's a complete shadow side, and that shadow side denies obvious things. So we walk out of that inner circle, out to the outside, and we get a great hawk's eye view. And the hawk's eye view is quite painful because you see everything. Everything comes to you at once. And you wonder, how is it possible to know and see all these things, to have so much doubt, so much fear, so much hopelessness, and yet at the same time want to turn it all off, all the electronic devices, and just be still and trust that that's enough. I believe that that great stillness is going to reveal quite a lot to ourselves very soon. Many of us are taking more time to meditate, be out in nature, equal to the amount of time that we push ourselves. And when that begins to happen, it creates that invisible connection, because nature has a wonderful way of reflecting back inside ourselves that great vastness that is infinite in its unconditional love. Now, it seems strange that you would find out about unconditional love in nature. But in fact, that's how we learn. It's like having a pet. A pet teaches us so many wonderful things about love and its loyalty. And yet, human beings often fail that part of our journey, and yet we have to constantly forgive, constantly still have hope, even when we have lost a good friendship, or we've been misunderstood, or we have had to let go and pass on to a new relationship and let another one die away. It's time now to realize that the outsider, the one that's standing outside looking in, looking at all the craziness and chaos of the world that partially is created for us to drive us absolutely insane, because we are a very mind-centric society, especially Western society. We're driven by the mind. But if you move out of that and you're in the heart, something changes, and for a while you're very delicate, you're very fragile, and you often feel as though you don't know what to do. You're in the unknown zone. And that's why the outsider, of course, can get lost in the unknown zone and drift away and completely decide to not be a part of society. However, something is changing. You're finding, for example, I'm very interested in astrology. Astrology has moved into a position of great wealth of knowledge for us, an understanding of the patterns of the universe, of popular life, culture, the absurdity of it. It is a hawk's eye view of looking at life, as above, so below. And that connection is becoming stronger by the day. We have a beautiful alchemy going on inside us right now, and it is invisible, but very soon it will be very visible to the outside world. And I can only say that seems to happen more and more as we accept that the outsider knows the truth, and there is no dividing line, except that being an insider means you get to write the rules. You have all the power to do what you want, what you so desire, what you dream. You have the ability to be the leader and say the wrongs, because you have been on the outside and you have seen where part of society has been forgotten about, that part that it gets ignored is considered small, when in fact it's growing by the day. We're connecting to each other's sovereignty, humility, compassion, and love day by day. Personally, I find it harder and harder to be within an environment that is negative or is trying to antagonize or cause incredible conflict. Conflict is necessary to an extent of defense, obviously for security, but it is important that we watch out for that. War is not something we need right now, and I think we're done with that aspect of existence. That's a big statement, but I think we're ready to release it from ourselves. So for now, that's what I want to say. The outsider is the insider.